All right, here we go. Inequalities. Inequalities regarding the quadratic functions. All right. Solving an inequality works exactly the same way as you would expect. We're looking for things that are less than or greater than 0. Now, graphing this out makes life a lot easier simply because we can identify what it is that we want as the point either above or below, and then our equation. More often than not, we're going to end up using, setting this thing equal to 0 and looking for the x-intercepts. This is when it comes in really handy to be able to solve for and identify zeros in an equation. Rather than trying to have, some gobbledygook equation on one side, gobbledygook equation on the other side, trying to figure out what those would be, we rectify it, put it into 0, solve for 0, and over we go. Nothing too spectacular about this. Okay. So I've got something like this. What my recommendations for you are, I have this, kind of walk through it a little bit. This calculator, this thing decides to fire up. So I want to be able to deal with this. So I'll move everything over to one side, subtract x, subtract 10, subtract x, subtract 10. So it leaves us with 2x squared minus x minus 10. It has to be less than 0. So the next thing would be to grab the graphing calculator. Second. Reset it. Y equals, just put in your 2x squared minus x minus 10. Graph. Identify the zeros. So we want to do it quickly. Let's see if we get over here in the table, if there's any place where it hits 0. And I only see 1 0, which is going to be at -2. The nice thing about going and taking a look at a table, calculator, come on, is when you're dealing with this and your zeros come up, great. We also know that there's going to be a 0 somewhere between -4 and 5. We have a sign change there, so I know it's in there someplace. So I've got one of them. Down here. So at x equal -2, we get a 0. And x equals what? We need to find the other 0. So I suppose if you wanted to, I could put in, do a trace, put in one, what was it between? Okay, so let's probably put in 4.5, and I end up with 26, so that ain't going to do it. But we can hit this, we can go to finding a 0, put it below it, above it, and we find out that it's going to be at 2.5. Oh, I hit 4.5. My bad. So 2.5. So now I know that x is equal to 2.5. That's where my zeros are at. So the question is asking, where is this inequality less than 0? Well, it would be between -2 and 2.5. If it was equality in there, then obviously we'd have brackets. Not that bad, is it? That's what it requires to deal with for the inequalities. Okay. Now, we can also deal with this if we have two of them. Okay. So let's back this up here a little bit. I got a shot too far here. I could also have dealt with this in a different way. If I had, back to the graphing calculator here, I'm going to clear this out. I've got 2x squared, and I've got x plus 10. So if I graph these out, I've got my parabola, and I've got a line that's going to cut through it. Looks like I got to go up a little bit more, so we'll change the window up here. I put in this 2x squared as the parabola, and I put in x10, x plus 10 is the line. Now, we're trying to find where the x squared is below, right? So if I were to go and hit trace, and we said that it was at -2 before, so if I hit -2, I end up seeing that it's at 8, and that -2 is on both of these equations. Okay, that's the point of intersection. I see it at 2.5. But I plug that in, it hits that point of intersection as well. So the zeros is one way of dealing with it. You want to just put it in like this and see where things go, fine. Problem with that idea is, what I usually find is I had to move the graph around in order to see it, correct? Whereas if I'm doing it the other way, set them less than, greater than, equal to 0, whatever, I only have to look in one place, and that is going to be simply the x-axis. I don't have to look and see, is it this quadrant, that quadrant, above, below, left, right. It simplifies it and leads me to where I need to be. So, that's just simply another way of dealing with it. So, that's it. I'll let you guys have it.